people that will think that we're green team or central here, there are some takeaways that I think people should know about. So I got Joe Murray's 3 takeaways from the Celtics. We'll do that right now. But again, the phone number here is 617-779-0985. Happy Halloween, everyone. We did do our Halloween show last week because we were interrupted by all the games. Last Friday we did ours. So if you go to 985thesportsum.com or you just follow us on Twitter, you'll be able to listen to our In or Out Halloween edition. It was outstanding. So when you get a chance, go check that out. Also got some thoughts on Drake May and the Bruins. What is going on with them? We'll get into that in just a little bit. But the 3 takeaways from last night's game. Number 1, the Celtics got crushed inside the paint. 62 points in the paint last night. 40 were in the first half. And through the first 5 games this year, this is what Maz was mentioning in the crossover here. They have not been great through the first 5 games. Yeah, they've beaten everybody down, but these are the real numbers. Opponents' points inside the paint. There's 54 the Celtics gave up through the first 5 games. So overall, that's what they're averaging per game. 26th in the league. Last year, they were 40. They gave up 47. They were 9th in the league. The other thing is this. Restricted area this year. Opponents' restricted area field goal percentage. First 5 games, 72%. That's 25th in the league. Well, what were they last year? 7th. 64% opponents' shooting percentage in the field goal area. In the restricted area, excuse me. And when you want to look at opponents' field goals at the rim, first 5 games this year, 75% they're giving up. So when you look at it, paint points, they're 26th in the league. Restricted area field goal percentage, 25th. Field goal percentage at the rim, 28th. Last year, they were 9th, 7th, and 5th through 5 games. Here is the difference for the Celtics. It's Kristaps Porzingis, and sometimes I think we forget about that. But with Porzingis on the floor last year, they were one of the best teams in the league. With him off the floor, they're about 6 points worse. And here's the other thing. Number 2, so I've given you number 1, points in the paint. Number 2, their transition defense has been poor. That was one of their keys a year ago. Last year, at this point, they were 2nd in the league. Points per possession, 1.05. This year, they're at 1.29. 29th in the league. Everything the Celtics are doing are 25th or less or worse in the league. They were top 10 in everything a year ago at this point. Transition defense was a huge problem last night against the Pacers. Here's the other thing, and we have told you this. So for those who call us green teamers, we're just giving you facts. The numbers are the facts. The Pacers are the toughest opponent for the Boston Celtics. It's not New York. It's not Philadelphia. It's not Miami. It's not the Bucks. It's these outlier teams such as Pacers, Magic. Young teams that can run, that you have to keep up with, that can also score inside but shoot outside. And I think they're the toughest opponent, especially playing there. The Celtics have lost 3 of their last 4 games in Indiana. And if you want to be really critical about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's game, yep, Jason Tatum got hot late, hit the big 3 to go into overtime, but from 3 last night, they shot 6 of 29. And when it mattered in overtime, they shot 0 for 6 from 3, and they missed 2 free throws. Jaylen Brown missed 2 free throws. And after the game, Jaylen Brown said blame him, and I think you should. I think he was poor defensively and put up some poor shots. But realistically, I'll give you more numbers. When it comes to shooting the 3 and making the 3, the Celtics are number 1. When it comes to points inside the paint or an ISO or half court, they're number 1. So if you don't like them playing the 3 ball and you want them to go inside more, well, they're number 1 when they're inside more. It's just the balance wasn't there last night. But the biggest thing for the Celtics was you got to play better in transition. And at some point when Porzingis comes back, those numbers inside the paint should go down. I mean, say what you want about Porzingis, the guy can really, he's a rim protector. A couple other things last night. Anyone notice that Drew Holiday and Al Horford didn't play in the fourth quarter or in overtime? They went with Neemias Queta and Peyton Pritchard, and it worked. Like, bravo, Joe Mazzulla. I'm just curious how that rubs off on those veterans. I'm sure they know in the end they'll be there, but you couldn't have used Drew Holiday on defensively late in the game? Or Al Horford to knock down a shot when your two stars went 0 for 6? The difference in the game by far was Benedict Mathurin. I've talked about him a bunch. This dude can play. He had 30 points last night. Nembhard was like a rising player. He got benched. He only played 5 minutes. Benedict Mathurin came in. He was hitting shots inside the paint, outside, playing defense. He is a huge addition to the Pacers, something they didn't have last year versus the Celtics. They also didn't have Miles Turner, and they scored 64 points in the paint. So I still think the Pacers are the Celtics' toughest opponent. Do I credit them for everything they did last night? Yes, I do. But don't put yourself in that situation. And when you're in overtime, do you have to force everything? Like, Derek White was hot. I still want Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum taking the shots at the end. That's not what I mean. If you got the best half-court offense in basketball, use it. I think they were tired and throwing up lazy shots. But that's what happens in these one-possession games or tie games. You try to really slow it down to keep yourself in it. And that's certainly what the Celtics did last night. Now, they go on the road. They'll play 2 games in Charlotte. Yawn. Still waiting for that Warriors game that's coming up in a couple of weeks here. November 6th, I got that one circled. Warriors are playing outstanding basketball. They're without Steph Curry at the moment, but I think he just missed the game the other night. But watching the rest of the league, the Celtics are going to dominate. But one thing is clear, no doubt about it. The Pacers are their toughest opponent, and we'll continue to tell you that here on the Sports Hub. 617-779-0985. You can feel free to react to the Celtics. I was trying to be critical. Hey, they're going to blow everybody out. They're going to win by shooting more threes than everybody, and they're just the best roster in basketball. So all those things are true. But can you be better with giving out point in the paint? Wait, how do I say that again, Skez? Points in the paint? Did I do this the other night? I was doing all sorts of things when it came to that. Transition defense and points in the paint. Don't give that up. And how about this? Actually, start the game earlier. It's Halloween, everybody. I'm a jackal right now. We'll have more. I got thoughts on Drake May and the Bruins tonight. Scary, spooky. We'll have thoughts on that as well. I'll get Skaz's thoughts on my 3 things as well. We'll do that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5. Sports Hub.
Quick, smelly.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
In or out on haunted corn mazes? In or out on ghost horse, egging, smashing pumpkins, toilet paper? In or out? Are you in or out? And I share a lot of stories from growing up that I'm not proud of at my age. And by the way, good luck to everybody driving to Salem, Massachusetts. I just left Peabody. I got on 128, and I looked to my left, and I said, oh, boy. So hello, everybody listening on 128 North right now on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz, I gave my 3 points of why they lost last night, or my 3 takeaways. How about that? My points in the paint, not my paint of the point.
So your 3 points were points in the paint, defense,
transition defense, and that the Pacers are the toughest opponent.
Yeah, I would say that's all fair. I think they just didn't start the game ready. Their defense was awful. You got a really bad Drew Holiday game. Al Horford wasn't great either.
They got benched.
Yeah, they got benched for Keita and Pritchard. Benched. And that's something that, we love. Everyone loves Al Horford, but he is getting up there. His play hasn't been
real quick, wasn't he scoring,
good.
Though? I think he had 8 points in the game. I
think the Pacers are a very bad matchup for Al. They want to run and gun, and that's a tough spot for Al. He's better against the Bucks or the Sixers when they have Embiid or Giannis that wants to play down below. So kind of just an off night. When their shots aren't going in, you got to play defense, and they weren't playing defense, and it was too little, too late.
What do you think about them being 25th, 26th, and bottom of the league now in all of those categories? Rim protection and inside the paint. I think last year with Porzingis on the team, it made a big difference. So we haven't seen the best of the Celtics yet, and they're still the best team in the league. I think last night they missed Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, and I wonder if that means we see a little more Keita on Friday and Saturday. He looked good in his minutes. I know he's limited offensively.
9 rebounds in 13 minutes.
But that's, maybe that's where they need him, just a bigger body inside. He can rack up a couple fouls for you. So I wonder with Porzingis out now looking a little labored, I guess I'd say, early in the season, maybe just give Keita some more run. And we've said this for even last year. They needed another big. Obviously, it didn't impact them whatsoever last season, but they could use another big body. Luke Cornett has his role. He plays it really well, but he's not an elite big man in the league. He's probably
6 offensive rebounds in the first half last night. Broke a record.
So if you're relying on that from Cornette and Keita every night, that's just not sustainable.
Just wanted to be critical for the people who think all we do is have green goo everywhere. Just a little bit of a green party. The fact is, through the first 5 games, they're 26th in the league in paint points. They are, when it comes to opponents' restricted area scoring, they're 25th. And when it comes to their transition defense, they're 29th. And they're still kicking everyone's ass. Besides last night. And wait till Porzingis comes back. Also, wanted to just transition quickly. The Yankees lost last night. Dodgers win. It was an implosion. It's actually, I was working the game, so I was kind of caught up in other things, and I couldn't believe it was happening. That's an all-time meltdown. I don't know how the Yankees come back from that. Wonder if Judge can. He's such a great player. But it's hard not to think about Mookie Betts winning his 3rd championship today. Both teams spent money this offseason. Ohtani, Soto. Well, at least traded for Soto. Hopefully the Sox noticed. I don't know if they did. And this is one of my takeaways from watching the Netflix special real quick. Did you notice they really cared in 03 and 04 to get better? They were bragging about, the Red Sox never paid for players. They never had talent. So we went out and we did that. I was pissed watching that. And I don't know if this means anything. Mookie winning another one, right? The Yankees going. Does it do anything for the Red Sox? I will say this. The World Series was a hit. I still watch. You all still watched For those who might not watch baseball anymore or don't follow the Red Sox as much as you used to, like all of us, it was good for the game. Yankees, Dodgers, and I'll tell you this much, the Red Sox would be damn good for the game too. It's still a draw. The World Series is still a draw. Guys, we had it on last night. You still watched. I'm still betting on it. It's just, is that what it has to be? Does it have to be the two best teams with the star power and the names? Because I wasn't really watching Arizona and Texas a year ago. I wasn't really, besides the Creed. Besides following Creed last year, that's all I had. The Red Sox can still be one of those teams. One other thing, we're on Drake May watch still, right? Back at practice, concussion protocol. It's day 4 of that. I just want to make mention that the Patriots are underdogs, and the line moved from 3 to 3.5. That's even with the news of potentially Drake May starting. Drake May on the road against a top 15 defense off a concussion? I think that's why Tennessee's favored. I don't know if Will Levis is playing. Last week he had a shoulder injury. Mason Rudolph's at least thrown multiple touchdowns in a couple of games. I don't know where they're going either. It's a battle of rookie coaches. This thing's going to be ugly. I actually think the Titans and their defense might be able to give some fits to Drake May or especially Jacoby Brissett. Finally, the Bruins are in action tonight. It's Halloween. Things could get scary tonight, everybody. I expect the Bruins to at least come out and win. Like, show up after last game. But I don't know anymore. And they've done some crazy things to their lines. Just so you know, Carolina's a favorite tonight. Kind of a big favorite. Minus 185. The Bruins to win outright. Plus 155. Swayman will be in net. I mentioned this already, but the Bruins last year, I believe, gave up, through their first 10 games, gave up 16 goals. Like, Swayman's done that already. Korpisalo's given up 10 in 3 games. That was their identity. What is it now? And when you look at the team, like, what are they doing today? I don't want to call it a panic move, but you want some Bruins line shakeups? Get ready tonight in Carolina because Jim Montgomery has, he has really changed the lineups tonight. They're breaking up Lindholm and Pastrnak. So we'll see how that goes.